All right, Randy Senda here. So thanks for tuning back in and checking out this episode, which is going to be episode number 3, analyzing deals and the numbers you need to know. So I'm going to I'm going to do some screen shares and just kind of walk through some basics here. Let's start with, so first things first, looking down here on the sheet, main talking points are going to be really understanding what is ARV, which is the after repair value, and how do you figure out that. You're going to kind of research some comparable properties, or what they call comps. The 70% rule, which is how to calculate your maximal allowable offer, or your MAO. This is just a real quick, down and dirty, kind of the back of the napkin approach for doing it. We'll talk more about that. And lastly, is just estimating repair costs. Simple methods to really look and do a quick estimate. So let me switch over here. And so I'm going to pick Sacramento County. I actually up here in Placer County, but one of my main markets is Sacramento County along with Placer County, and we do buy properties nationwide. So I am in basically all 50 states. So here, just real quick, was median. You got median listing price, you got median sales price, average home value. So what we're just going to use is median sales price. So in November of 2024, the median sales price was 530,000 here in Sacramento County, and the stats say that's up 3.7% from the previous year. So using that, what I want to do is, again, going back to understanding what is your ARV and researching comparable properties. So what I've done is I've opened up Zillow here, and I'm just picking sold properties 500 to 550K, again being in that median price point, 3-bed, 2-bath home. And for this example, I just deselected everything, and I just want to pick single family homes. So I'm just going to pick this first one here. You can see it just sold on December 27th, 2024, and it was for $520,000. Let me switch over here. Bear with me. So $520,000, it was sold right here, December 27th. So that was what, 2 days ago this thing closed on the market here. So it sold for 520. And really a quick way to go do that is just take and pull up the property that you have interest in. And it could be a property that's on market. It could be you're driving for dollars, you see a property, it looks like it's in disrepair, and like, man, I'd really like to try to, see if maybe they're interested in selling that property, and what could I offer for the property. A million ways to skin a cat, but basically go down here, and here the Zillow shows you the recent solds, and key thing here is this little map. So this little map, you basically have your house, which is this property here, 1776 High Bridge Way, and here's the 3 recent sold. So key thing when you're looking at comps is really you want to stay in the immediate vicinity of the home. You don't want to look at properties that are on the other side of a major crossroad, highway, main road. Here's Interstate 5. You got the river. So again, you want to just stay what's in close to that. So you have the subject home, which was 1776 High Bridge, and you had sale number 1, sale number 3, and sale number 4. So going back here, sale 1 sold for 523. Here's the property that we're looking at that just sold, was a 4.3, 2,309 square feet. It sold at $218 a square foot. So this one here on Amherst, this one sold for 523, and down here on the map's number 1. Number 3 is literally around the corner from the property. That one sold 10 months ago. So market probably looked a little bit different. And again, don't know the details, what the finishes were inside the house, etc., etc. But that one sold for $595, but it had one extra bedroom, and it was 400 square foot bigger, plus or minus. Still roughly sold for the same price per square foot. So when you extrapolate that, that's the value that they were able to get out of that property. This other property here, number 4 down here, it's right here, 1957 Richfield Way. That one sold 6 months ago, 4-bed. It's got one less bathroom, and it's a little bit smaller square footage wise, but it sold for a higher price per square foot. And again, not knowing the details of what the finishes were and the quality of the home on the inside, or maybe what they had in the backyard. They could add a pool, big pergola, whatever. So, anyways, that's just a quick way for looking to, kind of research and look at comparable properties. Next thing I wanted to go over is just really what they call the 70% rule. And that really is just a kind of a quick back in the napkin to take a look at a property and go, I can probably offer X dollars by doing some quick math. So let's dive into what that 70% rule is. So here I'm just made an example up. So we're going to say our subject property is a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,800 square foot home. It's looking at other comps that recently sold for that house. 530 was the price. So now we're going to use the 70% rule. And really, what is that? So essentially, is you're taking what you're targeting to be the final sales price for the property. So in this example, 530. We're going to multiply it by 70%. So basically, we're taking 30% off the top. So that 30% is basically an allocation for expenses. What's that equate to? Well, that's a $159,000 discount from what ARV is. So before you did any renovations or whatever, that drops that down to $371,000. So there's many ways to skin a cat on what the quick costs are, but basically that 70% rule is taking ARV, you multiply it by 70%, and then you subtract what repairs are. And that's how you get to basically your quick back in the napkin offer number is. And I'll go in a little more detail on that. So that's the 70% rule. So that's how to calculate your maximal allowable offer. And then again, I'm going to touch a little bit more on that. And then estimating repair costs, simple methods for quick estimates. So going back to simple methods for quick estimates. So here I've got this repair cost per square foot. So this is kind of a nationwide thing as far as investors and across the U.S. There's real simple numbers that you can use. They're not the be all end all number that you use, but they are numbers that you can use to get a quick approximation of what it's going to cost to renovate the property given a price per square foot. So there's many numbers out there, and if you go to different YouTube channels or you're part of different mentorships and groups or masterminds or whatever, they'll say that it's okay, $20 to $25 a square foot is going to be for really like a light cosmetic rehab, which could really just basically be kind of like a paint and carpet and then put it back on, kind of a lipstick, putting lipstick on a pig, just a real light spruce up of the property. Then you could say, okay, well, from 30 to $40 a square foot is going to be a little bit heavier. Maybe it needs a new fence, it needs this, that, and the other, and you can maybe use that number. And then so you can kind of call that kind of a medium renovation cost. And then you can get into what they call kind of full gut renovations, which could be $50 to $75 a square foot, depending on the market. Again, if you're messing with like luxury homes that are $1 million and more, that price per square foot could even approach $110 a square foot. So really depends on the property, its location, where it sits price point wise relative in the market that it sits in. But that's really just quick math. So using that 70% rule again, my subject property was a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,800 square foot house. I said my ARV's $530,000. My quick taking my 30% off for expenses was 70% of ARV. So that's a $159,000 discount. I'm going to say that I'm going to do, this is basically kind of a full renovation short of like new roofs and fences and, new driveways and all the big stuff. This is going to basically be a redo of the kitchen, the master bathroom, the powder room. It's going to be paint. It's going to be flooring inside and out. And it's going to be a spruce up of the exterior as far as light landscaping. If you get into some real heavy landscaping, that can cost a lot of money. So just using this example, $50 a square foot. So based on that square footage of 1,800 times $50 a foot, so that's going to be 90,000. So our quick MAO is using the 70% rule is going to be ARV minus 70% minus 30%. So you're going to multiply it times 70. So it's going to be ARV times 70% minus repairs. So we're using $50 a square foot, 90,000 for renovation. So your back on the napkin purchase price is going to be 281,000. You could be looking at the property and maybe it's you're just going to figure that it's going to be really kind of a very light cosmetic rehab, kind of lipstick on a pig, and you can say, okay, well, that's only going to cost me, $25 a square foot. Well, now that raises how much you can spend for the house because you're spending less on the renovation costs. So that's 326,000 would be roughly what you'd want to kind of target when you try to work with the seller, working with the agent. If this happens to be a property that's listed, you want to kind of target 326 for being your purchase price. Obviously, you want to look at the property, have photos. If you're working virtually like I do, if they're in my backyard, I'm going to go walk the property. I'm going to meet the agent, or if I'm direct to seller, I'm going to, introduce myself, handshake with the seller, see what the property's got to offer, and then, go from there. Again, this could be, you can say, okay, well, dang, this thing is trash. It needs a new roof, new fences, driveway's busted up, just, full gut rehab, new everything, and I'm going to go $85 a foot. Well, now you're taking this property that's you plan on selling for based on market comps for 530,000. You're going to be looking to get into it for the low 200s. So anyways, just some quick math there. And then, some things I just want to cover on the 30% rule or the 70% rule. What's inside of that 30%? What's that used for in that quick math? So typically acquisition costs, because again, you're going to buy the property, so you're going to have to, either use your own funds, a private money lender, a hard money lender, whatever you got, money out of your 401k, whatever that looks like. You got to buy and close on the property. Typically, it's 1% to 2%, depending on where you are in the nation on average. Then you got to also factor in now after you do the work, you got to resell the property on the back end. And closing costs on a final sale are 5 to 6% on average. And basically, what that is your buyer, you're going to have pay their own agent commissions. You're going to pay your listing agent, so you're going to have 3%, and then you're going to have call it another 2% or whatever for closing costs, transfer tax fee, all the other little miscellaneous stuff. So that can put you in that 8 to 10%. Interesting fact, though, is the national average to sell a home in America is about 11%. Well, why is that 11% if it's only 6% to the agent and a couple percent for the closing costs? Well, typically, there's a high probability of buyers asking for basically seller concessions. They're either going to come back and they're going to, ask for a little price reduction because maybe they found some construction flaws. You did a renovation and there's some little ticky tack things that need to be fixed, or they're just going to, offer you a little bit less. So there's a high probability of doing that. And then also you're factoring in for your investor profit. If you're going to take your cash capital and go, whether that's somebody else's money from a private money lender, a hard money lender, whatever, you had to put some money into it for closing costs, down payment. You're taking that cash off the table, taking it out of circulation. You're putting it into this investment. Obviously, you want to do your due diligence, make sure you're buying the right asset and you have a good solid plan so you're not going to lose money, but you're definitely on a minimum. You want to make 10% return on your money. I mean, if you're going to take all that risk, the market risk of maybe the market turns and now you've got long days on market, you got to do price reductions, whatever, or the renovation gets away from you and your renovation costs, you figure you're going to spend 45,000 on the house and you end up spending 85, double your budget dang near. You just got to factor some of that stuff in there. So minimum, you're going to target 10%. And that's really probably more for very experienced flippers that have a team and do it day in and day out. They know their numbers. They know the markets that they're buying in. They're getting their materials at a discount. And the person that just kind of the one does the onesie twosie flips, or you and your wife, oh, it'd be nice to let's flip our first house. Buyer be investor beware. High probability of losing your shirt if you don't know what you're doing. So typically, most people, you want to figure 10 to 20% for profit all in. That's where that 30% is. And again, just kind of high level. So that's back to understanding your ARV, right? So that's using Zillow, simple tool. Look at what market comps are. 70% rule. So that's going to be ARV times 70% minus repairs. And how to estimate those costs. Again, you can just use that quick math on a price per square foot. Make you a little calculator, boom, and you save the calculator. You start looking at more and more properties. You get some practice at doing this. It becomes really quick, and you can underwrite a property really quick and figure out if you're in the ballpark. So an example could be, so this property that you're looking at, again, 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,800 square foot here in Sacramento County. You think that property fixed up is going to sell for 530. That's going to be relative to other solds in the area. You do all your math and you start say you're direct to seller and you're negotiating. You go, okay, Mr. Seller, what are you looking to get for the property? Well, we want 475. Well, you already looked at the property maybe, or you know enough to go, well, there's just no way I can offer that. I need to be somewhere down in here. So you can use this for a quick sniff test to go, um, you can either try to negotiate with them or pass on it and go to the next one. So anyways, real quick, that was just, again, analyzing deals and the numbers you need to know. I hope you found that a little bit beneficial. And if you are, struggling to get your first deal done, or you need help, you've been talking to sellers, but maybe you got one that actually really motivated and you just having a hard time really getting them across the finish line, right up there, DM me the word deal. I can help you out. If you have a deal under contract, but it's like, oh boy, I got to figure out how to go find an end buyer for this property. We can help you with that. We got a lot of tools that we use to find buyers nationwide. We got a big buyers list, so you can DM me the word dispo over here. And if you need access to capital, get your first deal done, maybe just some working capital on something you're working on. I've got a lot of access to capital. And if you need funds, DM me the word dough. And again, appreciate you all for watching, and tune in for the next episode, and we'll talk to you soon.